Aaron Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I just want to start off with the lunacy that we just heard from the member from the Green Party. Last night I sat in the banquet hall and had a great presentation along with the wonderful member from the West Coast, Chris Okenvold, from the West Coast Mining Group. They pointed out that mining in the West Coast produces about $700, $800 million a year of export income, and with a little bit of help and a bit of time they could produce another $1 billion of export income for New Zealand. That produces jobs and taxes, which produces the real wealth for New Zealand. Mr Speaker, this is the problem that we have with the opposition. The opposition either can't count or don't want to understand how real wealth is created in New Zealand. Last night in this chamber we heard Claire Curran trying to actually just subtract from 1.6 million, 800,000 and got 83,000. This morning, Mr Speaker, we saw in the paper in the Dominion Post a journalist, for whatever reason, point out that an income of $500,000, which actually was the revenue turnover of a business, should be the basis for taxation. At question time today, Mr Speaker, we heard the Leader of the Opposition, Mr Phil Goff, point out and reaffirm this issue of the fact that a turnover tax is the way to go in some shape or form. We turn around. I'm surprised, Mr Speaker. I look across the other side of the opposition. I give them credit. I look at Mr Cunliffe and I think, I know Mr Cunliffe, he's a smart man. He spent some time advising major corporations around the world. So I thought, no way will that man come up with an idea like this. Well, it turns out maybe we were wrong. So we got Mr Nash come up with this brilliant idea. They need $5 billion to fund the hole that exists in their expenditure program. $5 billion. Well, Fonterra's got a $60 billion turnover. I know. Let's tax them a 10% tax. That'll be the solution. That'll solve everything, Mr Speaker. You see, when you go through the process, it's like that old political saying about cows. You know, we have two cows. You look after the cows and they produce milk. Well, the Labor Party has a view. If the farmer has two cows, take the cow, produce the milk and throw it away. And that's sort of the focus that the Labor Party has. We heard from Jacinda Ardern that jobs in places like Pumpkin Patch aren't real jobs, Mr Speaker. Will you go tell that to the worker?
Order.
Sorry, Mr Speaker. The member who pointed out the issue about Pumpkin Patch, I say to them, people working in retail, those thousands of people working up and down the country for an 8-hour day or a 10-hour day working in the shops, like my family does, Mr Speaker, they are real jobs. They produce real value for New Zealanders. Mr Speaker, what is they don't understand? People have to create real wealth. They have income. They deduct their expenses. That is called profit. That is what we tax in New Zealand, Mr Speaker. Nothing imaginary. There's no sort of pixies at the bottom of the garden creating wealth that we can just throw at for their great grandiose plans, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, we've heard over time some of this craziness from Labor Party. They told us we would have 11% unemployment. We have 6.5%. They told us we would have 20,000 people unemployed in Christchurch alone, Mr Speaker. That was absolute rubbish. They tell us, Mr Speaker, that the solution is to borrow more money so we can save it right now. Well, Mr Speaker, right now New Zealand has a mortgage, an overdraft, a credit card balance, and the creditors are banging on their door, Mr Speaker. It's absolutely ludicrous to go and borrow more money just to put on a lottery, which is a share market that we see right now, Mr Speaker. You see, Mr Speaker, the Labor Party seemingly believe we have no idea. Well, I point to last year's budget. We released an investment plan that outlined for the first time ever how we would spend over $100 billion over the next 10 years, Mr Speaker. The first government in the history of New Zealand. That is a plan, Mr Speaker. A plan to invest our infrastructure in the smartest way possible. That has never been done before in the history of New Zealand Parliament. And what credit do we get from that side? Where's the plan? Where's the plan, they ask? Well, I tell you, Mr Speaker, tomorrow you'll see a plan. You'll see a plan outlined to bring the budget into balance. Because we cannot carry on spending more money than we earn, Mr Cunliffe. We cannot carry on spending more money than we earn because we cannot go on borrowing $300 million a week and spend another $5 billion that member and his party want to continue to spend to bankrupt not only me, not only my family, but this whole country, Mr Speaker, because that's what it's going to achieve. Thank you.
The time for this debate has expired. Call on private